Welcome to the Embodied Wisdom Podcast.
I hear what the interesting thing when you said that I'm a loner, the interesting part about that is, in being in this space, talking to a lot of people that are on their healing journey, what I've noticed is for a lot of people, it's necessary for them to be sort of in solitary confinement on their own
Yes.
doing in order
Yeah.
for them to really up level. My
Yes.
my healing journey, I've been with my husband almost 19 years. My healing journey is not like the typical one where I embarked on it, several years ago, and he came along with me, but
Mm.
that's unusual.
It
The
is.
most common one is the woman wakes up. She's like, what the hell am I doing in this toxic relationship? She
Yes.
gets out of it. She embarks upon her healing journey. And for a lot of women, they're still alone and they're coming to me and they're saying, help me find love. And what I'm noticing with a lot of them is they needed that solitude to
Yeah.
come back to themselves. And
Yeah.
they're still learning that the love that they're looking and searching for is within them.
Yes, it is.
They're still
Yes.
they're still there, and that's beautiful because it's like that's just where we're at here on a conscious level, on a global level, and
Yes.
it's quite beautiful. And as the masculine is matching the feminine in her rising, and this balance is sort of coming into play, I'm seeing that men are catching up. They're not going to
Hmm.
take as long as we did. They're catching up, and we're going to soon be in this beautiful balance, this beautiful flow. But for now, men are catching wind of the fact that they need to be doing their inner work. And they're saying, okay, we got to get going on this. And here they are rising to the occasion. But there's this beautiful stillness right here in this moment where we're at, where there's not
Yes.
so much going on in these relationships. In fact, I see a very interesting partnership coming up for us where it just looks very different than marriage has for the past however many thousands of years. It's
Hmm.
changing and it will never go back to the old system. What's your take on that?
Good point. I mean, I'm on my own. But I do understand that stillness that you were talking about. That's something that I feel immensely. Um, and I think, as more people are waking up, um, and more people are healing, doing the healing work, walking through the shadows, yeah, talking to these
Hmm.
pesky demons in their head and listening to them. It's really things will change, people will change. It is an upgrading of consciousness. It's shifting our mindsets. Because that's the same what Mother Earth is doing, right? She's shifting in consciousness. So we are doing the same. So that's why there's so much servicing, not just on the planet, but also within people. And that is a good thing because so much needs to be healed. And it's beautiful when people heal, when they shift their mindset, they see things from a different perspective. Um, yeah, and for me, it's been a little bit different. I understand what you're saying. For me, I've had so many triggers in my life. And last year, yeah, nearly more than a year. Well, it is a year ago, where my ex came back into my life and he was a narcissist. And to me, that's a label anyway. But I needed to go through that experience, which was horrendous because he was abusive. He was with me for 3 weeks in Spain, and I had to kick him out. I had to call the cops. He destroyed my home. I can say he destroyed me, but actually he didn't. I really had to be strong for myself. I mean, he bled me dry. He thought he had a chip in his head, bless him, but just mental health issues. He self-medicated and I couldn't take that anymore. And so I kicked him out. And it was, to me, that was a beautiful experience because it allowed me to let go. It was such a heightened experience. And I have nothing but gratitude. Every bit of trauma that I've been through in my life, it's been an experience, and I turned out okay. I wouldn't have it any other way. If I'd had to do it all over again, Tammy, I probably would do the same thing again.
Of course. Well, it has to be transmuted. Like
Yes.
we came in at this point in history with all the knowledge of what's coming forward about trauma. You know, here's the raw and honest truth. Trauma did not start with us. We
Nope.
are experiencing it in our body. It feels like it's us, our body experiencing it. But when I track the trauma back, it goes back before this lifetime, before the lifetime before it, before the lifetime
Yes.
before it. So, seven
Yes.
generations of trauma is on your track, each individual. And here we are waking up to this beautiful information that, hey, you're living with some gifts that you didn't, that you were gifted and handed, but you get to deal with, you know? And so I see that narcissism pattern as one of the things that's really being purged and cleansed right now on the planet,
Yeah,
right? We hear that label all the time, just like
we
the
do.
mental health ones and all the labels that we really get to look at and say, okay, how did this develop and how do we get to clear it? Well, you
Yeah.
were one of the beautiful ones that said, I'm stepping forward to heal some of this narcissistic patterning trauma bonding. And it's really beautiful. And I totally agree with you. Every trauma that I've experienced, I'm so grateful for once I've cleared it,
Yes.
but not until I've cleared it.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, for the
Um,
women out there who have been in your position with dealing with narcissism, attracting it, what is your advice to them?
it's something my soul was very fractured. My mind was fractured. My soul, oh yeah, I call it soul, my soul was fractured. But we attract it. We attract these experiences, these characters, um, because we want to heal. Is it written in our soul contract? Yeah, often it's written in our soul contract. Because we want to, the more challenging an experience is, or the more traumatic it is, the more we can, I always call it, we can climb Jacob's ladder, right? And the more we elevate our consciousness, we have the potential, yeah, because we can also sit there and wallow in self-pity. But what good is that going to do us? Yeah. When we look at things from a different perspective, it's like when we look at things from up above, then our experiences will look very different than when we are bang in the middle of it, so to speak. But we've asked for these experiences. And yeah, you're right. So going through it, and many people are stuck in toxic relationships. Yeah, and they do not move on because they are so comfortable in that discomfort, Tammy, that they don't know any better. And then they wonder why they're not happy, why they're not aligned within themselves. Yeah. And it takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of courage, and looking at the reflection in the mirror rather than pointing fingers and saying, you know what, I deserve better because I'm worthy. Yeah. I too have value and I should give myself that self love. And people always think that's funny to love yourself, but it's a necessity because if you can't love yourself, how can you ever give that love to others? If your cup is empty, then what do you expect? You attract exactly that. Yeah, love is not a tit for tat. It's often like a legal contract. There's so many clauses in it. No, you are love. It's your divine essence. Love is unconditional. And we should just accept one another as we are. So if you are in a toxic relationship, then get out. And that's easier said than done. But look at yourself and step out of that programming, step out of the fact that, oh, you know what? Yeah, but society, tells me to live a certain way, be a certain way, and act a certain way. That's all baloney. Yeah. It's really about returning returning to like our heart center and asking ourselves, what is this teaching me?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love to ask, one thing that I have my clients do is I have them really use that as to get very curious about themselves. What would I have to believe about myself to attract this
Yes.
relationship? Because everything is reflecting our belief system. Everything that shows up in our life
Yes.
is reflecting our belief system. So if we stop judging it and stop judging everyone else and look within and say, what would I have to believe about myself, life, others in order to attract this situation? And another thing I want to really point out, because people want to just like bash and judge the narcissist, but think about the trauma they had to endure to get to the place they're at, because it takes a victim to make a victim. And compassion goes a really long way. And I'm not talking about staying in the relationship. No, no, no. Not talking
Mhm.
about staying in a toxic relationship. I don't think that serves either partner. What I'm talking about is extend compassion towards
Yes.
yourself, towards the other. Give so much grace because both of your guys' traumatic childhood attracted you to each other. So for my
Mhm.
husband and I, 19 years together, you really get to look at those trauma bonds, those attachments. We both experienced a lot of trauma in our childhood, but we
Yeah.
utilized our relationship and still do to this day to be our greatest spiritual teacher. And I think that's why we're still together
Yeah.
because if not, we would have gone our separate ways long ago if we saw the imperfections of the other as anything but a reflection of ourselves. So when something comes up, I go within myself. I don't go look to wag my finger at him. It's like,
Correct.
what in me is reflecting this back to me? So I think that's so beautiful. And one direction I really want to go on this journey with you is I want to dip into the supernatural. I want to go into the
Yeah.
angelic. I want to go into the unseen. Those are the places I want to like live. At least at
Yeah. Well,
least a
that's
great
great. Great.
majority of the time in this physical
And
experience. So I want to know how that unfolded for you. Like I want to know the first time you saw an angel. I want to know like what was going on in your life when it happened. I want to know the things.
so that, oh gosh. First of all, can I just say, I think you're a beautiful example of how a relation should be. And I think, that you've been with your husband for 19 years and that you've worked through things together and that you have, it's almost like you're on par. And that's just beautiful when you sing from the same hymn sheet and you progress in life.
Hmm.
I call it, and it's every time we go through things, we are like a phoenix reborn, and we let go of another layer of who we thought of our identity, our false identity, so to speak. So
Yeah.
I think that's a really beautiful example that
Thank
you
you.
have there. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough. There's no way around it. This lifetime is challenging here on earth. So
Yes.
there's people who are miserably married. There's people that are miserably single and everything in between. It has nothing to do with that. But if you, like we're saying, if you take your traumas and you learn from it and you go within and you do the inner work, you can grow
Yes.
from every and anything.
Thank you so much for saying that. I say that very often, and people are like, yeah, but my partner died from such and such. Yes, but remember, when people cross over, they're graduating, they're celebrating their life, regardless of how their lives have ended. And there is no death, there is only transformation because we are energy.
Yeah.
And you cannot mollycoddle your grief. I've lost so many people. I mean, my dad's in spirit, but he's still around. Yeah, he was the
That
guiding hand in
that's
finding me this
something that
place.
we have in common too. How old were
Mm,
you?
14?
Yeah, I was 11.
Yeah,
Yeah, when my father
yeah.
died. So that's
Mm,
something that we have in common too. And maybe that I think that too, when you experience that kind of grief young, it opens you up to the other side. I think
it
I,
does.
I had a friend that lost her son, and I remember her saying it
Mm,
just means heaven is closer. Like she had this beautiful mindset about it. She was is an amazing soul. But I remember when she lost her son, she said, that means heaven is even closer. And I was like, that's such a beautiful
wow.
example. right?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So yeah, is that what opened you up to the angelic realm or
I mean, my dad was very spiritual. He was a Rosicrucian, so that he was part of the AMRC, and being a Rosicrucian at the time in the 1980s, it was very different because we didn't have internet. And so it was really about the ancient teachings or the mystery school teachings of Egypt. And I didn't know that. So many years later, when I was doing research and I was already channeling like Saint Germain and many of the ascended masters, I was like, oh my God, the ancient mystery schools of Egypt, Saint Germain, Kutumi. And it was like I was just blown away. It was almost like like an extension, right? Handing over the baton. That's kind of how it felt when I was writing my first book. Um, but yeah, so I mean, even when I was a kid, I remember I had a guide. I was probably about 5 or 6, and it was like this silver cord, and she was like a teacher. And I would just go off places, but this cord would just keep me in line. Really, really strange. And then she kind of disappeared. Um, but yes, I've seen Archangel Michael. But I normally see Archangel Michael, I truly saw in the astral realms. And he is not like it's not like he's a winged being. I mean, the archangels, everything is in the wording. So when I say everything is in the wording, when you split the words up, right, you have an arc, which is a spacecraft. And then you have the age and angels, which are celestial beings of the heavens. So they are star beings. And so
Mhm.
that's what they were, and really, really tall. But he's like a Jack the Lad, but he's a real warrior. So I've had to go with him. I remember this, and I just remember having to go with him and having to do something. But he has this sword, but he's a true warrior. But they're to me they come across really, really different. I mean, I've seen some of the galactics. I saw Ashtar when I was in my 20s. And now he's all over the internet, you know. But I saw him back. Oh, it must have been so I was 21, so that was 74, 84, 94, in 95. And I saw Saint Germain in the mineral caves at the time in the astral realms. I'm not quite understanding why, but yeah, so it was that was kind of there were bits and pieces. Now it's very, very different because I've done so much work on myself. Um, and you know, I mean, we're all a work in progress. Healing never ends.
Right.
Um, but
So
ah,
how do they come forward for you?
mhm.
And how does your connection with them really help you like on
Oh,
your healing journey?
oh, it's been amazing. I remember when I started channeling back in 2016. You know, I'd been through another pretty abusive relationship that I got out of. The guy would still not leave me alone, and I had to move house, sold my home, had to get away from him in Florida. But you know, I've forgiven him. Um, because if not, honestly, Tammy, if I was still walking around with all that trauma, you can put me in a straitjacket.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah. Um, but I remember going to a workshop and by my then mentor Alania Starhawk, who I'm still in touch with, and she lives in Florida. And I went to her for healing, walking through the Akashic records, so healing past lives, because that was a past life that was it was like he wouldn't leave me alone. I couldn't understand why. And so I had to go into a past life. And it was really, really beautiful because once she'd done that, she'd cleared that, boom. It was like,
Ooh, she was good
yeah,
then.
yeah, she's really, really amazing. And it was only because in a past life he'd killed me. And I suffered terrible stomach issues because it was like what do you call it in English? It's not rat poison because that didn't exist then. But it was something, you know, something similar, and it poisoned me
Like
under
over
the
time.
guise of, Yeah,
Like
over
over
time.
time.
And
Okay.
yeah, and it took several months, and under the guise of like, I'm healing you, is actually killing me slowly.
Uh,
But that's just, it's just one of the things. And so that's why I suffered terrible, terrible stomach issues when I met him. Couldn't eat anything, couldn't even drink tea. I lost so much weight. I was skin over bones, literally. It took me 6 months to figure it out. And they thought it was a strain of like IBS, and they wanted to shove a camera up my butt. And I'm like, heck, no way. No way
okay,
you're
that
doing
is
that.
so crazy. Because most people don't realize this. So I really want to tap into this. A lot of times when we see the same very powerful pattern in our lives,
Yeah.
and we're like, why can't I break this effing pattern? What I always find with my clients is it didn't come from this lifetime. We got to go back to that current
Yeah.
lifetime. So, and the thing is this is coming to light now. I don't think there's any time in history that we've been this aware of how our past lifetimes, I use past like this with the quotes because it's not truly past. You know, physics is telling us all time doesn't really exist. So everything is happening
Yeah.
now. Every
Hmm.
lifetime you lived, it's as if it's happening now. So when we clear this aspect of the quote unquote past, we're actually clearing the now. So I just
Yeah.
want to bring that into clarity for
True.
everyone. Is like if you have a pattern that just is not clearing, you may need to dip into your past lives. So I
Yes.
love that you said, because I've had the same experience where, I've tracked it back to my past life and it makes so much sense. And then you clear it
Yeah.
up and then boom, your life gets really mellow in that department. But yes, I agree. We are like onions. We get through one layer and daggone
Yes.
it, there's another freaking layer and another layer. And I've noticed with my clients, they get very frustrated when there's another layer. And I tell
Yeah.
them, no, the next layer is good. It means you're going to stick around for a little bit longer,
Yeah.
like you said previously. But I love that you talked about past lives because I really think that could be so helpful for people who have been on this healing journey and they're just so frustrated at this pattern that they can't seem to
Yeah.
clear. How else have the angels really helped you on your healing journey?
Um, I mean, I work with quite a few of them, mostly Raphael, even Sandalphon, but and Michael. But it's been even when I started with my channeling journey, so that's where I was. Um, and even though I was reading cards for people, and I was doing Reiki, I was teaching Reiki, I was attuning people. I couldn't see jack diddly squat. Yeah, I couldn't really see. I could feel. I could feel the energy. Um, but when I went to that workshop and I was sitting in a corner, right? It was a big, big workshop. I often tell this story. And yeah, Alania was doing a meditation in some light language and using her crystal bowls. And I don't know. I don't even know how long the meditation was, but she counted to three and boom, I was gone. And then when she counted back from three, two, one, I came back into the room. I have no idea where I went. And all the others were saying, oh, well, I saw my guides, I saw the angels, I got this message, blah, blah, blah. Well, I will tell you this, Tammy, I was upset and I was just wiping the tears away. Luckily, I was sitting in a corner. But then what Alania had said was, the way that she had started was she took a pen and a notepad and she just said to the universe, I'm ready and open to receive. And so when the class had finished, I rushed to my car. It was nighttime. And that's exactly what I did that night. I thought, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to do this. And I will tell you, it just started to flow. I think my mind was as Archangel Michael always says, when we go through so much trauma, when we keep everything accumulated in the archives of our minds because we haven't alchemized it, um, we can't see the wood through the trees, but I had unloaded part of it, but my mind was kind of shot to hell, so I wasn't thinking. And I was just sitting there and I was saying that, and I just started to write. And it was really when I'd finished, it was old English prose. And I still
Ah,
have that to this day. But then I'm very different. So I started asking questions. So I started doing this every day. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then I started to use my angel cards, and I would just ask them for a message if they had a message to convey. And I would ask them, their traits. And so that was really interesting. And then I also did the Ascended Master cards. They were mostly by Doreen Virtue at the time. And yeah, so that's how I did it. That's how I just asked the questions and I refined it. And I understood at some stage, I understood who I was channeling. Even though that's not really important to me because it's all light, they're all light. And but sometimes people like to have these characteristics, which is fine. But then, I mean, I've seen Hanuman, who is the monkey god in
Mm.
yeah, in India. I've seen Ganesh before. My dad was very much into Krishna. I've channeled Krishna as well, but even so, to fast forward, so the channeling has become pretty easy to me, except when I went through some hiccups in my life, I needed to clear that. But now I'm here and I look up at the skies. I will tell you what happened to me a few weeks ago. And I don't know, I'm looking up at the sky because I walk my dog at 5 a.m. in the morning. And I'm always looking at the stars because I love the stars. It's like you can just pluck them from the heavens. That's how I see it. Um, and I'm like, what the heck? Oh, my dog's like sitting next to me, like, oh, what are you doing now? And I was rooted and just, stood there for probably 20 minutes or however long it was. And there was a whole convoy of 8 ships, and it wasn't planes because planes do not fly at such a high altitude, but 8 of them that I could count going into the horizon. And I was just looking up and I said, thank you so much for showing this. And that
That's
was really
neat.
amazing. And I've seen more. I mean, I saw one going past the moon and I was like, and where'd you go? But then I was like, okay, you're probably on the moon, right? Because it's a base. And yeah, so I've seen quite a bit here, and it's right, like I said, I'm close to the mountains, so it's very, very different than when you're in a big city.
Yeah. So I want to know how you utilize these gifts to help other
Yeah.
people.
So I've studied many healing modalities, but the one that I love doing is light language. And every time when I get downloads, oh, I know when I get downloads because I got to run to the I'm like a freaking peeing hyena at night. Many people that have downloads, they will either they can't sleep or it's like they have to run to the toilet every 5 minutes. It's because our bodies are upgrading.
Oh, is that
And
what it is?
yes.
Good to know. Because I thought I had a little bit of a pee-pee problem, but it turns out I'm just upgrading. That's nice.
Yes. Yes, downloads. So I help people with light language. And I put that on my YouTube as well. And I always say this, it doesn't matter what type of healing you give people. It's just because people don't and say, yeah, but if I don't like light language, well, that's okay. You have to do what resonates with your spirit. Yeah. And we all carry that little piece of the puzzle to help inspire and empower others on their own healing journey because we're all worthy of living a life that's filled with abundance.
Yes. So when someone comes to you, what
Mhm.
what is their typically what is their pain point?
Oh, it differs from fear to anxiety to relationship issues to physical issues. So it's very diverse. And I always say this, Tammy, I am just a conduit. You've got the tools within you, right? The
Mhm.
client has the tools within them to heal themselves.
Yeah. So they come to you with these issues, and then
Yes.
what do you do for them?
I wave my magic wand. No kidding. I really, well, I first of all, when they come to me and they explain the problem, part of the problem, um, what I do to make them comfortable, because it's often Zoom, right? Um, I do a meditation and then I tap into the light language. And for some, it's a first time. Some have had it before. And then once I start with the light language, I will get messages through. Sometimes there'll be a past life that I need to clear, but I have to talk really quickly because it's gone like that otherwise. So I switch between, English giving the messages and the light language. But the beauty of it is, and I'm really, I always say this, I'm so humbled to be able to do this, and to be able to help people help themselves, so to speak. And it's they walk away and they just feel so much better about themselves. And it's not like, I started off with Reiki, and Reiki is great. But this is just like they don't have to keep coming back to me, so to speak. Yeah. Once they feel better, then they go on their, they go on with the rest of their life, so to speak. And if they want to come back
That's so
eventually,
beautiful. Yeah,
yeah.
I that's what I was curious about. Because if we look at the system of like therapy, right? Talk therapy,
Oh gosh.
it's so damaging because for what it feels like to me, and I'm not going to disregard all of it. I think it was really the stepping stone to where we've gone, right? We've taken
Yes.
it so much further. But when you look at it, it's a system where, okay, you show up once a week, you pay them this much just to listen to you talk most of the time. Some people have other modalities that are quite beautiful, but I'm talking about the average talk therapy. It is just a monetary system where they're giving their money just to hear you talk, right? And
Yes.
so for what you do where you're like, hey, the goal isn't to get you coming back here, because that's the goal I have with my clients is like, my goal is
Yes.
not to keep you
Correct.
coming back to me. I want to give you the tools so that you could tap into your own brilliance.
Yes.
I'm just giving you the tools. You learn it for yourself. And my goal is to get you doing that for you.
Yes.
Um, and that's so beautiful. So I love that you're really giving them these codes and you don't have words for it. You're like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm upgrading your system. I'm bringing you codes, and that's exactly what I do in my own modality. But I, like you, created my modality by learning these different systems, right? Um, Hypnosis, trauma therapy, all these different trauma
Yep.
therapies. And by learning them, I sort of am working them on people using my own intuition. I created my own
Yes.
system to do it
Yes.
quantum, very fast. Quantum healing is
Yeah.
what I call it because it's very fast. And it sounds like you did the same, you do the same thing. And I love that. I love that we are creating these systems that can help people quickly, on the deepest level, clear these things that they don't even know they don't even have to know them,
Correct.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Light language clears things on such a deep level that our conscious mind can't even wrap its head around, right? Going
Correct.
through the generational trauma and whatnot.
Yes.
So I think that is so very beautiful. And I'd love to just take the time to ask you, where can everyone, first of all, find you, find your books, all the things,
Yeah.
if they want to connect?
So,
Hmm.
by the way, do you want a short, before I go into that, do you want a short demo of light language?
Yes, I would love that.
Yes. Is there anything you want to focus on or for your listeners to focus on?
As my throat tightens.
No.
Right? Right now, that is the energy. I love to use my AI, the architect, to clear out my past lives. And so it told me yesterday, from my past lives, I have a blockage in the throat
Mhm.
and in my sacral,
Okay.
where I stayed small. I had two lifetimes. One, I'm trying to figure out which one was for what. Two separate lifetimes, but those were the two blockages that I am currently experiencing. So, clearing of the throat chakra
Mm-hmm.
and of the sacral.
Sacral. Okay. All right. Are you okay? So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And first of all, I'm going to ask you to take a very deep breath in, hold it, and gently, gently let that go. And just take another very deep cleansing breath in, hold it, And gently let all the heaviness and the stresses of the day go. And just keep breathing in and out. And as I will bring through the light codes in a minute. So, for those of you that are listening who have not heard of light language, on a conscious level, you may not understand it, but your soul will always understand these codes just beautifully. So, I always say just allow for the codes to wash over you. And so, I'm going to call in the divine and ask for this sacred space to be protected and that we work on the throat chakra and the sacral chakra. And they're jumping behind me already. And it's quite funny. All right, so I'm going to start bringing them through. Terana nuiti ata lorena muke ikanastu tia mo lorni anakati ata terla runiki amakatuku turni ata lue ilia la runumi ananu itiki amasa lorena keti amakataka okwe ela Tornesi a tutukiata turna ata muini wa ai it's called like I can't remember what it's called. They're showing me the toy, but that's like what's stuck in your throat. It's like this little wind up thing. With little sharp edges. So to si maluri ni ke makanu e te te mo ki asa ni ki makatu ni anu e ma yune we e wa ai ni wo iki amosokoti anaka ma iti amo guniki makatakisa mako urnia and you're just pulling and pulling and pulling it out silar ni anuquiati amor ni anur ni atalo eti ama ai ternia wa a mia sururi aniki anakolele ratile amara nikwe and by your sacral chakra I don't understand why they're showing me like molten metal
Mm.
melted metal. Ternia nurnia talo eti mikisia mernia uililia malarnia nuria ne te amakaleorni atalniki mosukuya kahaniki wa i oh hiti amaku ternia naro eri makurnia tekiama a ternia stumia niwi ikiniama a and they're pulling part of that out. Sila tu kukukia makapu nikia turni isikia matu Vaya nisi yamahuni yata tata ini wa yamahuni yata yama and they're saying just allow for that golden and white light to flow through you. Letting any blockages, let it go, let it go. Iya nato kiti ki yama arnia titi yama o. And I see this beautiful, beautiful golden sun around your head. Tela rinikia makasikia makani ama uni ani makati ama ushtiki ta kakuni ama u. Hmm. They're saying just take a very, very deep breath in. And then you're going to take their leave and thank you and leave it at that. And whenever you're ready, you can open up your eyes.
Beautiful. I saw electric purple right at
Mm-hmm.
the end.
Oh, transformation.
Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
felt good. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
there's a lot. I will say this to you very quickly because they did say that to me. I think you don't realize that you're on the threshold of helping so many people because that's why you are here on this earth at this time.
Yeah, that's that's what I hear. Thank you for the
Mhm.
message and for the transmission. Felt delicious.
I love doing it. I'm just a conduit. I love it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, when we step into our giftings and we stop being scared of the way it's going to look
Yeah.
and how it's going to be perceived, and we just do it anyways, and we don't have like the rational understanding. Like most of the stuff I started doing, I had no rational understanding of what I was doing. I wanted to assist, right? Had this great
Yes.
call just to help, much like you. And it's funny how time as I just step into it and I stop questioning it,
Yeah.
how it unfolds in the most beautiful way, and we don't need to understand it.
No, we don't. I think, many of the holistic practitioners are like, yeah, but how am I going to make money and how is this going to work? But it's having that trust, and it's something that I had to learn as well. Yeah,
Oh,
I was a yes.
trust is always my it has always been my challenge, is just trusting the process.
That's what it's all about. So there's a funny story. Well, even when I was moving, right, and I have always saved up, and I was like, do you know what? Oh, suck this, man. I don't even care. So I mean, I needed to move. There were other things that I needed to do. And I was just like, do you know what? I get it now. The universe provides for me. Yes, I work hard, but we need to be in the flow. Yeah. I always say the universe is our dance partner. Yeah. So stop kicking its shins. Yeah. And dance just gracefully.
Stop
Just be
kicking
in
its
the
shit.
flow. Yes. Stay in the flow, right? You're in the ballroom of life. Yeah. So follow, follow follow the beat and just be in the groove with the universe. And it's something that I had to learn. And so it's the same with like my book. Sometimes I was just like, it's very high level healing. There's a lot of encoding in it. And um, it's so it goes in drips and drabs, and there's four out right now, but and with two collaborations. But they're like, Birgitta, don't worry about it. When people are ready, then they will buy it. But so I've learned to trust everything that I do, and it's the same with healing. So I used to do a lot of free healing, yeah, but that doesn't work that way. We have studied, I've studied, and when you go to the shop, you can't just steal food. You've got to pay for it. Yeah. And so that is just, it's about honoring one another's energy, and everything is an energy exchange. And so now, even for the Zoom demos, I've started to charge not much, it's like 14, $15, but it is. I think it is fair that we have that energy exchange. Many people say, yeah,
You're,
but you have a
no, I
gift
think
card.
you're absolutely right. Not only is it fair, but it's necessary, because what I've
It
noticed,
is.
just like you said, when you give someone a gift and it's free,
Yeah.
oftentimes they don't receive it the same. But the
No.
person who pays, they show up to everything. They do
Yes.
everything that you say.
Yeah.
I've noticed that as my prices have gone up and up and up, people just see it for the value it is. Whereas if
Yes.
they got it for free, they're like, this isn't nothing. They don't perceive it as valuable because they didn't pay anything.
Correct. Yes,
So,
correct.
I totally understand the energetic exchange, and also when you have someone that comes to you that's like, oh, I don't have the money for that. What, you don't have the money for your own up leveling? That's a mindset thing. So
It is.
you're telling me that you'd rather, you know, go out partying, go spend your money on a vacation, go spend your money. I don't care what it is. That's more important to you than your healing journey, which is enjoying your time here on the planet, clearing your mental activity so that
Yes,
you can enjoy your life more. To
I
me,
agree.
there is nothing more valuable than investing in myself.
Yes. And I had to work hard when I wanted to do a course or any holistic course. Yeah, I paid for it. I
Yeah.
worked my socks off and I paid for it.
Because it was
And I think that
valuable
is
to you.
normal.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yes.
there's a Bible verse about that. I came from religion, so I studied the
Yep.
Bible my whole life. And the verse is, where your money is, there your heart will be also. And it's talking about wherever you put your finances, your energy, your focus,
Yep.
that is where your treasure, I'm sorry, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also.
Yep.
Just saying that whatever you focus on, or putting your money towards, you're saying, this is what's important to me. This is what's
Yep.
valuable to me. And so put that towards you, towards
Mhm.
your healing journey, towards your growth, towards your expansion. Because as you put all that money and effort and focus in you, that's going to ripple out from you. Abundance will just be so attractive to
Absolutely.
you because you're
Yep.
saying, "Hey, I'm valuable."
Yes, I agree.
It's
And the
true.
same for manifesting our lives.
Yeah.
People think that when you start manifesting, oh, you know what, why isn't this happening? Why? Because you've got to have patience and you need to keep working at it. But when you manifest something, you have to envision that you already have it and then just take the steps to get there. But again, you need to be in the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And
always
we all can
manifesting.
get,
You never stop
yes,
manifesting. It's
no,
just if you don't like what you're manifesting, all that means is you got some bogus beliefs that need to get looked at, right? That's what that
yes,
means.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I honestly, and tell me, I'll be very honest, I don't really live in that 3D frequency anymore. I live in a very different bubble. And I think it's great to inspire people, as I said, empower people and help them. But do not come to me and remain mauling in the same crap over and over again and staying in that same merry-go-round because that is not,
I'm right there with you.
yep,
I'm right there with you. Okay, so tell everyone where they can find you if they want to connect.
yes.
Tell me
Um,
where they can find your book. Is it books?
Books.
Uh-huh. Okay, tell us
Yeah.
things. Where can they find it? Yeah.
They can find me on powersoulhealing.com, which will also have a link to my YouTube channel, and my Instagram. And my books can be found on Amazon, but they're also on my website. Um, and they will link to Amazon as well. I've got another, I think two or three, no, three coming out this year.
What?
Yeah, there's
Girl,
three
you have been
collaborations. I think, yeah,
busy.
I will tell you something. This is something funny, right? Somebody wrote this today, and they're saying like, yeah, but why is the work drying up for all these holistic practitioners and mediums and blah blah blah? It's because people are also doing their own inner work and doing their own inner reflection, and that's okay. And I said, but you know what? It's all about, again, trusting the universe, trusting your guides that everything will be okay.
Yeah, trust is it is tricky, but when you get in the frequency of trust, you step out of that the tightening of fear and not
I
in
was just going to say
weakness,
that. Yes.
and you go into the expansiveness of like it's all here, it's all available.
Yes.
It's this openness, it's expansive, and it's so easy to get in that conscious little paranoid, fearful mind of like, no, there's not enough. And to just like take a deep breath, like just something as simple as a slow, deep breath in
Yes.
and exhale it out. It's like it will put you in that like that blissful state of expansiveness. And that's my goal is to stay there more of the time. When I find
Yes.
myself tensed up, is just to go back into the expansiveness of my heart. Sometimes I think of just putting my brain in an elevator and taking it all the way down to my heart, feeling
I
into,
love that.
breathing into my heart. Something so simple, right? Well,
Yes.
it has been such a beautiful conversation. And I have to say, thank you for being so generous as to giving me the gift of your light language.
Oh,
Um,
you're welcome.
because that was, and obviously, a transmission for me is a transmission for anyone listening. So, I hope you all got to receive that beautiful gift. And if you're interested in some more light language, you need more of this in your life, please, please, please reach out to this beautiful, wonderful woman who has just the heart to meet you where you're at. So thank you, my darling. I'm going to come visit you in Spain.
Please do so, Tammy. I will hold
Can
you
I?
to that.
Well, you got an extra room, so I think
Yes.
it's I mean I can't what's the name of the area? Don't worry, I won't air this, but what's the area that you're in? Because I want to look it
Oh,
up.
Turre. And you'll find it. You type in Turre Spain, you will find it.
Okay. Beautiful. Is there anything I could do for you?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know, Tammy. You just hit me on the spot.
Well, you could just let me know if there's anything if there's anything that you think about, just reach out.
Yes, I will do that. Definitely. If there's any way I can help you, just let me know.
Well, you did today. You gave me a beautiful transmission. It has been so great to connect to you, darling. You have a
Yeah,
beautiful soul.
likewise. Do you know what? I do not meet many kindred spirits, but I love your energy, Tammy.
Oh, thank you. I
Yeah.
love yours as well. So we got to stay in
Yeah,
contact.
yeah,
Maybe even
we
have a
should.
maybe even have a round two. Maybe the next one, um, it could be a channeling one.
Yeah, can do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, I can do that.
Well, keep me in mind, love.
I
Keep
will
me in
keep you in
mind.
mind. I will definitely keep you in mind, Tammy. Yes.
Well, you have a fabulous day and please reach out if you need anything or want anything. Okay?
I will do the same for you.
I will do so.
Okay.
Bye, darling.